Hello my chronically awesome friends, I'm Styna and welcome to Sick, Tired, and Alone, the YouTube channel about dealing with chronic illness alone, which is only half as depressing as it sounds. Today's video is about the phrase, "it could be worse." An alternative title for this video is, "Why it's okay to be upset about your chronic illness even though it's not the worst possible thing that could ever happen to you." It seems as though a lot of healthy people use the phrase, "it could be worse," as a way to sort of shut us up. I'm sure a lot of people don't actually mean it that way, but that's generally how it feels. As chronically ill people, we are wildly aware that it could be worse. There is one person on this entire planet who has it the absolute worst of all, and they're not the only person who's allowed to be upset about their situation. The misconception is that we can't simultaneously be grateful that it's not worse, while also upset that it's as bad as it is. Someone having it worse than you doesn't invalidate your experience. You're still allowed to be upset or angry or sad or pissed as hell. Don't let someone make you feel guilty for being upset about your chronic illnesses. Most of the time, we didn't do a damn thing to cause these illnesses. They're just a thing that happened, and now we have to deal with them. It seems that a lot of healthy people expect the fact that we have to deal with it the rest of our lives. They expect that to make it easier somehow for us to accept it, but it doesn't. If anything, it makes it harder. On the days that we feel our absolute worst, knowing that we're gonna have to deal with this for the rest of our lives, there's a reason that the #1 cause of death related to fibromyalgia is suicide. Chronic illness is a very difficult thing to deal with. The fact that there are more difficult things or other difficult things doesn't make it any less difficult. And certainly being told essentially to shut up about it because it could be worse, that does not make it any easier. Surprise! This is my suggestion for the next time a healthy person tells you it could be worse. You take your mobility device if you have one. If you don't have one, any hard, blunt object that you're capable of lifting will work. And you hit them with it. Multiple times if necessary. While they're rolling around on the floor crying, tell them they've got nothing to complain about because it could be worse. A few people sent questions on Tumblr for a Q&A type thing for this video, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. Please remember that I am not a doctor. What do you do to stay in shape? I don't do anything. I haven't been in a shape for a very long time. The only shape that I'm in now is horrible. Horrible shape. Can you recommend any good exercises appropriate for spoonies? Once again, I'm not a doctor. Exercising largely depends on the type of chronic illness that you have and the way that it limits your body. You really just have to work around your body and try not to push it too hard in figuring out what works for you. Like yoga is always a good place to start. Again, if it doesn't have a negative effect on your body, if you're capable of doing it. Walking. I try to walk as much as I possibly can, but that being said, I'm usually lucky to hit 3,000 steps a day. For reference, the average amount of steps a day for a person is 10,000. Basically, anything that gets you moving around in any way that you possibly can is better than nothing. But again, always check with your doctor and don't do anything that's going to harm your body. Next question. Do you have any meal ideas that are super cheap / easy that still taste good? I'm actually going to be doing a series of videos on low cost, low energy meals. For now, I'll say if you have a crock pot, use it because you can put pretty much anything in there with some spices and it'll eventually taste good. If you eat meat, you can use like the cheapest cuts of meat, the stuff that you find in the clearance section of the grocery store shoved in the corner of the cooler. Throw that in there for like 6 hours and you're good to go. I don't eat meat, so I do a lot of like chilies and stews, things with beans because beans are cheap and very good for you. That's my biggest tip for that right now without doing a whole video on it is crock pot foods. Throw stuff in there and put spices in there and let it sit for a few hours. But I will do some actual proper videos on that subject probably starting next week. The last question that I'm going to answer today, because I'm tired. What are your favorite relaxing things for bad or low energy days? Well, it depends on the type of bad day. If it's like a migraine day, which I haven't had in a long time since I changed my diet, but when I did have migraines, I would have really bad auras with them, and I usually threw up from them. Sorry if it's TMI, but there's never TMI in Spoonyland. I would generally not do anything. I'd have to turn off like the TV and all sound and put the drapes down, get it as dark as possible, and basically just lie down with an ice pack covering my entire face and head and hope that I wasn't going to die, because it always felt like my brain was going to explode. If it's a really bad body pain sort of day, if I don't have a headache, I'll read or watch Netflix. Lots of Supernatural, a lot of YouTube videos, Markiplier. I don't believe in soulmates, but I'm not convinced that he's not my soulmate. If it's a low energy day, I might play some video games. As a writer, I should probably say I write, but that's usually not what I do when I'm feeling exceptionally unwell. The writing that comes from those days isn't super good. It's pretty bad. That's it for this video. I hope I helped in some way. I will see you on Friday, my chronically awesome friends, but until then and always, take care. Disclaimer, I do not condone violence, usually, and if you do beat up a healthy person or anyone at all, I will not be held accountable for that shit. This is Foamy. You've heard of her from the last 2 videos. Listen, okay? Fleece-lined leggings are like the best thing that have ever been invented, and I might never wear pants again. The force of great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire. Way into Supernatural. I don't know if you can hear my neighbor like freaking the fuck out right now. His name's Crazy Frank. Sorry about that, my mom just stopped over and my neighbor, Crazy Frank, accused her of bringing me drugs and threatened to call the cops. So that's a thing that happened. You just give him a ha and a hi-ya!